Oh, is that Datu? All right, you made it. 3:30 a.m. in Philippines. Let's see, you're muted. So can you unmute?
Good morning to you, Sir Michael.
Yes. Oh, good. Well, nice to see you. You got your regalia on, your outfit.
Thank you. I'm very happy, even it is difficult to fight against your sleepy, but this is opportunity here, so it's great to have you, and I'm in.
Okay. Well, I see Catherine has joined us. There's only a few of us right now. Hopefully we'll get some more here. It's interesting that we have 500 people registered for our summit, but not that many people actually showing up. So but I see you have some good people here already. We'll probably a few more will trickle in. Here's Jenny May. So we'll just wait we could just have a little bit of small talk here for a minute. Maybe I'll do a little introduction here if I might. So we'll actually be rolling here. And so, hey, thank you all. Michael, Catherine, Jenny May, all of you are friends. I'm going to call Catherine a friend, even though we've just met. I just know you're a friend. And so I'm thrilled that Datu, let me see if I can get the Laniello San Juan, and I'm what's the pronunciation? Lanelio San Juan?
San Juan, yeah.
Okay. Is able to join us from the Philippines, and it's 3:30 a.m. there. And but he made this special trip, so to speak, to be able to be with us in this session. And I will say that Catherine is from Maori, from New Zealand, Indigenous person in New Zealand, and she's out to network the Pacific. So you're part of the Pacific there, and so anyway, so I'm sure some good things can come out of this. And so Datu, I'm going to do a little bit of introductions, and then we actually have some videos by you, but maybe we'll let you talk for a little bit before the videos. I think that would be good, just in case something happens. But I will just say that I met Datu through the Ecosystem Restoration, the Eco Restoration Alliance, I believe. I believe he was one of the introduced at one of those. And is that right, Datu? Is that the Ecosystem Restoration Alliance meeting that we met?
Yes.
Yes, exactly. And so
yeah.
Immediately I said, oh, well, there's somebody from a far part of the world that could be part of our summit. So I reached out to Laniello and San Juan, and we've become friends now. So I'm glad to be your friend here in the U.S. And I probably shouldn't say too much about the tribal situation on Mindanao Island, but I'll just say that Mindanao Island is one of the largest islands in the Philippines. I believe it used to be occupied only by indigenous people some time back. I suppose they were all indigenous, but nowadays the indigenous people are a minority in their own place, I believe. And like almost every indigenous people in the world, they are what we call the bottom of the barrel on the totem pole. They are the ones that get the least amount of money, the least amount of consideration. People are racist towards them. It's really economically, they're in bad shape. Usually it's so sad that the indigenous people of the world have been kicked around for centuries, millennia, have been kicked around. and dispossessed and marginalized. And it's still going on today, but at least it's harder to hide it. It's harder to hide the oppression of the indigenous people. And so at any rate, Datu is one of the one of the holdouts there in the Mindanao Island and his people. And I'll just say one more thing before we put Datu on. And should I refer? I'm using that name because it was first in your. Is it like chief? What does Datu refer to? It's like an honorific, or we call it. It's a title.
Yes, it's a tribal title here as a one of the chief of the Higaonon tribe.
One of the leaders of the people. That means that you have to work extra
Yeah.
hard. The leaders of the people have to make sure everybody's taken care of. It's a big position of responsibility. So anyway, I talked to a woman from Philippines a month ago, and I mentioned Datu to her. And she said, "Oh, I'm from the Philippines." She says, "We know those indigenous people. They come out of the mountains at certain times of the year and they bring things to trade, and they don't have any money. They just come down and trade things and go back with stuff. And we don't see them very often. They're very mysterious." So I don't know if that's the case with your tribe, but we do have those 3 videos. They're all short. I think it's 2, 10. I think it's a total of about 16 minutes or so. So we could show those in a bit, but I think it'd be good for you to introduce yourself and what you're doing to all of us. So I will shut up for a little while.
Can I start now? Hey, good morning to all. By the way, I am Datu Lanilio T. Sangkuan, a tribal leader coming from the Higaonon tribe in southern Philippines. I am very glad to have you all here in this morning to have this kind of connection, as we are all family here. So I am also the founder of the Tribes and Nature's Defenders, the indigenous peoples lead non-government organization based in Mindanao. So our purpose and goal is to save the remaining sacred forest and to reforest the newly deforested lands in our sacred mountains and boreal places. So the elders said that we cannot survive without the presence of rainforest, and we need to have it and reforest it for the next generation. And we believe also that without the connectivity, the cultural belief, the indigenous knowledge system and practices, we can survive. As the only hope that we have now, the last is the sacred forest and the Mother Earth. So this is me, Datu Lanilio T. Sangkuan. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm going to do a little more introduction. We're going to have you talk more. But so when I first connected with Datu and we started talking, he pointed out that he decided, his people needed help. He decided to go to university so we could learn some other languages so that he could be an advocate for his people and bring and work for them. So he went and learned English and I think maybe some Spanish. I think you took some languages so that you could communicate with the outside world. And then you are using that skill, that language skill, to help get some funds for your people and to work for them. And so that's such an honorable thing. And I know right now that you're seeking funds to send 9 more of your young people to university so that they can also get education and be able to be more help to the tribe. Is that right?
Yes, that is true. We need to send more young people to college so that we can help us more to protect our sacred forest and our identity.
hold on. I have to leave for a minute. So Datu or somebody, you can keep moving here. I'll be right back.
Hello. Yeah. Well, we'll just stand by for you, Michael. Do you have
Yes,
anything
hello.
else to say, Datu?
Greetings and good morning to you, Michael.
Oh, no, this is Brendan. I'm the technician that's helping make
Oh,
it
okay, Brandon.
possible.
I'm sorry.
Well, nice to meet you.
Yeah, me too. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I just wanted everybody here to know that we made a section on our homepage, on our webpage for Hall of Fame. And I don't like the term myself, but we couldn't think of a better one. And Datu is a feature on it. So go to our webpage and go look at a huge profile on everything he's done, plus many more awesome people.
Thank you so much for that.
So
Thank you so much.
yeah, maybe there's some other questions here. Let's have a little bit of dialogue and some questions at this point before we get the personal in before the recorded. Catherine or anyone else have any questions? Well, if you can raise your virtual hands there if anybody wants to, or just unmute yourself and start talking if you can unmute yourself. Catherine.
Kia ora tatu, ngā mihi o te wā ki a koe, meo iwi, just wanting to say hello, nice to meet you, and appreciation and well wishes to your family back home, your peoples back home. I just put some information in the chat. I don't know if you've seen it, but might be a channel for identifying some funding for you. And you really want to milk the fact that my mate Morse is actually from your home community, apparently, or the region at least. He's based in Geneva, Switzerland, but yeah. Whatever.
Thank you,
Okay.
thank you, Kof. Thank you.
Yeah, so have you now, I know that you've had some funding before from some other, I think, Western people or organizations. Do you have any other funds coming in right now, or is that dried up? Where is that at?
Yeah, we are still, the organization here is still applying for donors overseas. Before we access grant from Sacred Fire Foundation in USA. And we are very glad to receive the grant for School of Living Tradition and the and other activities in the tribe. So that was $4,000, and we are trying to connect again for another grant if it could be, hopefully.
Yeah, that's not very much. So it would be, there's a lot of talk, and I'll just say this to all of you, but there's a lot of talk, mostly talk so far, of setting up ecosystem restoration funding, to get billions of dollars, and then that can be divided or sent to the places that most need it. And so far, there's a lot of talk, like there's a lot of rich people that want to start funding these things, but I haven't personally seen it, but I think it's starting to happen. And boy, we could certainly use a lot of funding for these grassroots projects, because we're mostly all volunteer. We're barely scraping by most times. And of course, Indigenous people are always, they don't have much to work with. And it's so that is a big need, is for funding for helping all the different projects. And I don't have an answer for that. All I know is that I hope that it comes about, and so that they can send some to me too. But I am sending a bit of money. I sent, I think, $1,000 so far to Datu for his purposes there, and we'll send some more.
Yeah, yeah.
You'll be, we don't have much, but we're happy to share it with you. It was interesting to hear you say that you want to send, some of your young people to college. And I'll first make a comment. In the United States, the tribes here were, and still are, they use genocide, they use economic warfare against the tribal peoples here. But the tribal people here, a lot of them actually went to college at a certain point. And those people that went to college then became professionals and lawyers and scientists, and they really have made a big difference in their tribe. So the college university route is a way that indigenous people have gotten more justice and more funding and over the years in the United States. But it seems a little sad to me that the indigenous people have to go to you might say, a white man's school or a colonial school to get the education so that they can then be more useful to their people. We need indigenous universities where they can be trained in a more indigenous way to get the skills they need, instead of going through the regular or the institutional route. Here in the United States, we have what's called the Northwest Indian College, and they have a number of campuses, and the indigenous people here run some of their own colleges. I don't know if any are universities yet, but run their own colleges, and a lot of the tribal people go there for their education. Boy, wouldn't that be nice to have that in every country? Indigenous colleges and universities. Do anything like that in New Zealand, Catherine?
Absolutely. Yeah, we have our own, Māori have a network of what we call wānanga, which are institutions of learning, but from a indigenous values perspective. So language, culture, also integrating mainstream courses, but with a Māori flavor. So hopefully we're exporting from all these institutions like corporate warriors who have a bit more of a nurturing values base when they go into the corporate sector. It's not a guarantee, because as we know, the corporate sector is a behemoth. Once you get in there, you get sucked into the vortex of
some never escape.
yeah good intentions. What they say, the path to hell is paved with good intentions.
Now, do you have a dog in the background there? Is that your dog barking? I heard a dog barking on the back. I was just going to comment, almost all the indigenous people I know have dogs. they here in the US anyway. Do they have dogs in the Philippines there, Datu?
Yeah, we have a lot here in the rainforest. We have a lot. This protection. The dog is a protector. So we need dogs.
Yes. Okay. So maybe you could say a few words about I see Alice has her hand up. So I'm going to recognize Alice. Can you unmute yourself, Alice? Hopefully you can. Let's see here. I'm the host here, sounds good?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good evening, good morning. I'm based in New York City. Maayong buntag, Datu. I don't know if you speak Cebuano as well.
Yes, my buntag.
Maayong buntag. My father is Cebuano. Sorry, I can't work my video. But as I understand it, you're Hiligaynon, or what was it again?
Higaonon,
Higaunon.
Higaonon
Okay.
tribe.
And that is in the mountains of
Yes.
I mean, Mindanao is huge, but anyway, I had been
Southern
in
Philippines.
Southern Philippines. Okay, I had been in contact with people in Tawi-Tawi for a different indigenous group called the Sama Dilaut. But through my work with them, I learned that there's more and more laws that are protecting the indigenous people. So I just wanted to see what kind of resources you've been tapping into to be able to, get in touch in case the government is definitely helping people, and you're able to reach out to them. And if not, if there's a way us in this group is able to help. There's like a
Yes,
task force for
We are
indigenous people's rights and stuff like that.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Thank you for that, Alice. And we are always trying to connect the government here. There's support, but it's not like a match for the indigenous peoples to survive, because we want to have our own identity. We have to also need linkages and networking for us also to promote our identity where we can survive, and the outsiders also can realize that indigenous peoples in the mountains are the last custodians and the protectors. So we are trying here to connect the government support, but also the government is also seeking support for themselves. So maybe we can get sometimes, but it's not like can survive the support for the tribe.
I see. So basically, there have been conversations with them, but nothing really moving forward in terms of helping, for instance, funding your scholar.
Yeah, there's colleges here and universities, but we have only scholars for them. So when they have the cut-off score in the university, and sometimes because people, young people from the mountains going to the cities, then we need to have the boarding school or other the foods and transportation projects like that. So we cannot afford to send him. And also the government here is their sometimes their support for the students is not enough for the survival of the stay in the college for 4 years to 5 years like that.
Well, thank you, Alice, for making that connection, and that there's a that you speak the same language, and that's hopefully you can stay in touch with Datu. And if anybody ever wants to connect with him, you can always ask me for his contact information. You could, I suppose, put it in the chat here too. I see that I can now save chat. That's the first time I've been, that's because I'm host, I guess. They tell us a little bit more, because we're interested in ecosystem restoration, earth repair. That's the purpose of our being here. You say that your sacred mountains, a lot of them have been deforested. Are there still forested ones left? Do you have any old forests left, or are they all, what's the situation? I think I heard on the Philippines in general that almost all the forests were cut down in the last 100 years. What's the forest situation there?
Yeah, that is a very nice question for us. So for now, in our ancestral land, ancestral domain, so we have the remaining sacred forest, the intact rainforest in our place, but it's not as large before, because some of most of the neighboring communities in the sacred mountains are deforested. Last 100 years, so we had been some of the companies, the logging companies, came here to cut the trees, but this is enough for us, since how can we continue our belief or connection to the Mother Earth if all of this rainforest will be cut? That is why the elder said that we need to reforest again the sacred mountains for us to see the young generation to see what is the rainforest, even it is a second vegetation, but at least we have do our best to help the Mother Earth, to heal the Mother Earth for the wildlife and the tribe, for the interaction. Thank you for that.
Have you heard, I'll tell the whole group this, there's a type of reforestation developed in the Philippines called rainforestation farming. And what they have developed is a system where they plant native trees and native rainforest species, but they also use food plants and bananas and papayas, things that grow good there. And so that there's food for the people, but there's also rainforest for the wild animals. And so that they're combining food production for the people that live there along with preservation and replanting the rainforest. And so I'll have to send you that information, because that might be useful for some of your people. Brings up another question. How much of your own food do your people grow, or do they gather wild things, or do you have to buy your food in the marketplace? Where's your food come from?
Yeah. For now, since we are affected with the climate change, so it is not, and we are also to save the Mother Earth, because indigenous people before what we call burn and slash and burn farming. So that's the concept before, but due to it can destroy the Mother Earth. So the elders say that we can stop this, and we have to adapt a sustainable way of living. So the women planted root crops, different kind of root crops in the rainforest, and also the men planted coffee, indigenous coffee, and abaca fiber. So because we want the tribal community to survive, and we plant the culture-based farming using our indigenous belief and knowledge. So coffee is suitable for food, sustainable food security, and abaca fiber. It's a kind of crop like a banana, but the product is fiber, and there's a market here in the Philippines. So some of food activities like planting banana and other papaya and other we need to clear the rainforest in order to have a productive to have a yield for the papaya and banana. So it can affect also the rainforest. So that is why the tribes and nature defenders adopt concept of indigenous knowledge, that we can plant under the trees, we can plant crops under the trees and cannot harm the Mother Earth and the wildlife. And also we can have the 5 species of native trees that can produce a bird magnet. This is lugimit tree, bird magnet. The fruit is the food of a wildlife, and this is also the to recover the fertility of the soil, the fruits, and also it can produce more water. So this is a very unique native tree, and we are now planting. We started to plant this to recover all the denuded lands.
Mhm. Good. Diversity is so important, planting many species, but there's always some of the best species. And there's the concept sometimes that you plant really trees that are very tough and hard and can survive tough situations out in the sun. And then once they're growing, then you can plant other things underneath them or nearby them. So they're called nurse trees. So the nurse trees help the forest to you have to start with the tough pioneer trees and then gradually get more rainforest species. So takes several planting cycles to get
Yeah.
back.
We have a lot of native tree species here that we can reforest. We use the native and also the native fruits that sometimes can produce food for the tribe.
Yes, so there's a way to have the forest and the food is if the forest produces the food. And in Indonesia, they use the durian tree a lot. I don't know if you have durian there, but it's a tall forest tree. And
Yeah, there's a lot here.
yeah, so that's
There's a lot here.
good.
Mangosteen. There's also mangosteen.
Datu, this is Brendan. I just learned about a thing called giant river prawns in the Philippines. Do you eat those? I was just curious.
What's that?
It's like a shrimp.
Prawns, giant shrimp in the rivers there. Do you eat those? I was just curious.
Sometimes because sometimes we didn't, but I don't know in the others.
Okay.
Hello?
So Brendan and people here, I'm thinking that maybe now would be a good time to watch the video that Datu and his tribe made, especially for our summit. It's short.
Yeah, we have just
But-
enough time for that. Yeah.
We don't have to show all the other ones necessarily, or maybe truncate them, but at least that 2-minute one, and maybe, and then there's the one about the tribal ceremony. Going through the forest is after a while gets boring, but maybe a few, it stays the same. So maybe a little bit on that, but yeah, why don't you start that cue off, and at some point we'll go back to talking, because it's so unusual to have Datu with us, to actually talk to him but he did make a special video for us. So let's watch that.
All right, coming up.
The Global Earth Repair Summit. We, the Higaonon tribe in southern Philippines, is glad to join the Global Earth Repair Summit to tell our stories about how we can evolve to save the Mother Earth using our indigenous knowledge, system, and practices. Amidst of the challenges that we face, we still continue to fight for the last hope of the indigenous peoples and wildlife. We saw the results of the man-made destruction. The greediness and the love of money brought massive suffering of human beings. The indigenous knowledge in the southern Philippines strive to heal the Mother Earth, protect the wildlife, and bring justice to the indigenous peoples who had been abused by the capitalists. The elders said, the rainforest is our only hope and refuge. Without it, we will all die, and our connections to the Mother Earth are lost. We saw people are suffering of the typhus, wrath of the nature, floods, of the natural disasters that can show how the Mother Earth suffered too. We need to help each other to heal and repair the Mother Earth for the benefits of the next generation. For this, the Higaonon tribe engaged reforestation project like planting native trees and fruit trees. The communities also gave emphasis on the protection of the remaining sacred forest by creating forest guards to stop the entry of the capitalists. We prevent also the wildlife trading and protect. Let us join our effort for this global earth represent. Thank you, Michael Pilarson, for this great event.
Sa malala namin buhok matete mong salibuamig maosiod indamadada.
All right, so there is that one. And we'll do the next. And Malta.
Ay sa Bualaas, sa botro sa Panglilaya Panagasi. Sa imo do na yan natin.
Urasang buhay na o siyang pamadaan. Abang kahoin kahit lumabang.
Pada ano panitaw no? Kailan sa kagya pamuhat ko kalasa na kagya panalikot daw sa isa kagya tulod yan ay katapusan na buhat kung agya tubig. Kasi pasabot, yan ay katapusan at lumano ng tribo sa isa ka panalilay o kalikot daw sa agya tulod-tulod.
Urasang buhay na o siyang pamadaan.
Day madadaan, day sidarin day kudaan. Au dandang puod kalina, serta makapagahabilis. Au makapagandung, puso gagabi kasihkan. panay suga di katinin nahamunguan niyang pagdato si Pundado agaloy sutulayam pag
Great. Thank you, Brendan. So I see that there's been a number of chats here. That would be, maybe we should just read a couple of those. Catherine has been saying it would be awesome if people, of course, can open their own chats. If there was created a platform where a network of expert legal pro bono practitioners could offer their services and Indigenous peoples who need legal help could seek it out. That's, of course, a very good idea. And I imagine they have that in the United States, but I don't know about the world or in Asia or Philippines or New Zealand. Aotearoa, I gotta get the pronunciation right. So what's the pronunciation of the native word for New Zealand?
The pronunciation, Aotearoa. Aotearoa.
Aotearoa. I'll have to practice that. I'll have to come there and hang out with you for a few weeks. I did go to New Zealand once and did meet some Maori people there and was at one of your, I forget the name of it, one of your cultural centers. That was very nice. So we'll have to talk about that sometime. And I see that you also say that you have done that for our rivers and mountains. Are you restoring mountains and rivers there? Did we lose Datu? I don't. Oh, or is that session host? There he is.
We still have him.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I'm here.
So maybe I shouldn't ask Catherine questions. She can do those in her workshop. So let's. What else do people want to ask Datu? Or Datu, what do you have to say to us? What do you want to say to the world? Speak to the world through us.
Yeah, my role here is to connect and connect people that, as we are all eco warriors here. We are all families. We are all one race, which is the human race. We are not separated like by tribes, but we are human, and we have only one place, the Mother Earth. So what I can say is we need to support each other for the benefit of the Mother Earth and for the indigenous peoples. Because if we can support indigenous peoples, then indigenous people support also the rest of the world, since we are the one to as the front line of protecting the Mother Earth, because we can survive without it. So it's a mutual benefits for us. So that is why I'm calling and giving this saying that cultural and nature's connectivity is our future for the next generation.
Yes. Yes, anyone else there?
It looks like Janet has a hand raised. Michael.
Okay, go.
Thank you, Datu, for the films. I think it is always helpful to understand what's going on. And I wanted to understand the project you've been carrying on there. So besides planting trees, what else are you doing to heal the earth?
Yes, yeah. Besides planting trees, so we need to have the indigenous knowledge, is colloquiating tradition, where young people and other people outside can learn about the Higaon tribe beliefs, culture, and tradition, connecting to the Mother Earth. And we need to have also the climate school that will be put up, and that can serve also as research center for medicinal plants for the women in the rainforest, so that we know how we can heal our community and the Mother Earth. So we need also to put up food security projects so that we can no more deforestation in the community, because we know that capitalists can offer you billions of money in order for you to offer them also the rainforest, like mining companies, the logging companies, and the big plantations. So if we can give this last home of the tribe, then how can we survive? Through money, then we can deal uh, to the last destruction of the next generation.
Anything else, Janet? Maybe you asking maybe clarification?
Also, I'm wondering about the political say-so you have over your land. You know, you said that, you know, a lot of trees have been cleared and then the Mother Earth has been, you know, injured. What can you do against what the government allows? Do you have sovereignty over your land?
Yes, yeah, we have the National Commission on Indigenous Peoples here, and they are the one to protect the rights of the indigenous peoples. And we also have what we call the ancestral domain title, which indigenous peoples can apply for its security and have as a private land for the indigenous peoples. But it is not easy for us, since there's a lot of people now, what we call even inside the community. So they want money. So capitalists offer money for them. So, even I am a leader, I cannot control the mind of those leaders too. So if they want to sell their lands to the capitalists for a big plantations, so I cannot go for it, since that's their rights over their land, and their ancestors have that. So that is why I am very happy to have this opportunity and privilege to support my people, my tribe, in order for us, even this is my last breath for me to survive, then I can offer my life for the benefits of the young people and the Mother Earth. So we are different, even we are all tribes, but we have the different insights and visions in life for the next generation.
I agree with you that, you know, preservation of trees is very important. I think in the developed countries, it's very sad to see that, you know, vast lands have been decimated, and the only large forests left are in Central and South America, and that those are being burned very rapidly too. So I hope we learn this lesson soon, that once the trees go, we can't survive. Thank you.
Thank you. My humble speak.
So, yes, I really liked your little video there. That video was good. And did you produce that? Did you actually, because you put pictures in there and stuff, you know how to do that, or you have somebody helping?
I am the one doing that. Absolutely, I have a little skills, but just trying. I'm just trying to share the unique one, even without the interventions of the other official photographer and video maker. Yeah.
Right. You want lots of cost money to do all that.
Yeah.
So, how else can we any other ideas on how we can support you? I mean, some money is always good, but you have your own plants, your own seeds, your own knowledge. What else might be useful? Sometimes I'll say this one thing. Sometimes I have a lot of books. I like books for education. Sometimes I collect books and I send packages to people in other countries that things that might be useful. Does mail reach you? Is the mail system working there? Is it safe to mail you things?
I did not, maybe, but I did not try it since your offer is great. And maybe this is the first time I received a book from you and to have that. But in mail, I do not know how it goes in the Philippines. But we can try via courier, yeah.
Courier. Well, it's something to think about. So one book I want to get you is a book called, it's 3 books. It's like 3 big books. It's called Tropical Permaculture. It was developed and written for Indonesia, or actually it was written for East Timor. And it's full of pictures and graphics. So it's understandable even without English language, a lot of it. So some English is good, but a lot of it's in pictures. So I want to see if I can figure out how to get that to you, because it's very similar conditions, the growing conditions and species and things, somewhat different. So let me check into that. So you check into the mail on your end and courier, or how, we would cover the expenses, of course. Any other thoughts? What else can we help? How else?
Yeah, it's by our friends who can support this journey of the Higaonon tribe indigenous peoples in Mindanao. But our big plan is we need to have what we call a school of living tradition here, and it is a global in perspective that we can create someday a global tribal gathering that we can host in Philippines, and this place will host the participants overseas, so that we can have a cultural exchange program like that, and somebody will come in Philippines, then they have a place to stay in the rainforest and interact with the tribe and see the beautiful waterfalls and caves here, and other rainforest and wildlife. So that's the plan, that we can create this group. We can create a group of warriors like that, and we can have a plan to have a meeting here in Philippines and stay in the rainforest. Maybe that's my big plans, and support the food security of indigenous peoples and some activities.
Good ideas, big ideas. But to have them right now, are the indigenous people in the Philippines from different parts? Do they have gatherings, conferences? Do you get together with other indigenous people from other parts of the Philippines, or just even on Mindanao Island? What do you have now? Or is it hard to travel? Expensive?
Yeah, this month is the Indigenous Peoples Month in Philippines, and every community celebrated the 25th anniversary of Indigenous Peoples Rights Act. So it's a law here. So we celebrated in every community, but there is no big gathering all over Philippines that indigenous peoples can meet. So that's one plan. That's one plan that we are going to gather all the indigenous peoples in like 1 week gathering. We can showcase the belief, culture, and tradition, and some of activities. So that will come for the activities that we will be doing for the next few years, or what will be maybe.
Wow. Well, that would be, would be nice to find a funder that would fund the 1 week gathering of indigenous peoples in the Philippines and make that possible. So you look for that. That's a good vision there. Very worth doing. So to finish this up, we have just a few minutes left. I wish I had all written out on a big piece of paper I could put up that says, here's how to contact you. Here's your contact information. So anybody, and I don't even have that handy, but I could tell you people your email right now. It's and you tell me if it's right. I know it's Ancient Cultures or Ancient Culture at, what's your email?
Ancient Culture at yahoo.com.ph.
I just put it in the chat. Yeah, it's in the chat there.
Thank you, Mike.
Great. So that's really so people, I encourage people to contact you, and you have WhatsApp. We've talked on the phone sometimes, and so you can also be reached at the phone. I don't have that offhand, but maybe when we produce a history or a record of what we did here this weekend, we can put your information up for more people to see. And so we're very happy to have you here to bring your part of the world, a place that most of us don't know anything about. It's also good to have Catherine. And at any rate, it's nice to see people here from different parts of the world. And we all, like you, I was a very good speech. We are all human. We are all the same race, and we should all help each other. That's the goal. All right. Well, I know that after this, there's just a few minute break. And then we have another whole series of classes or events to go to. So I think we should all give Datu Lanielo Sanquan a appreciation. Thank you for coming and being with us and sharing.
Thank you.
Tell your people that we care, and we'd like to help, and that we can send our prayers. Sometimes we don't have money, but we all have prayers, and prayers and good intentions can travel across the world faster than the money or the wires. So let's all keep Datu and his tribe in our prayers, and all the indigenous people of the world. I figured that when civilization collapses, the indigenous people will still be there. And so let's I keep going, keep surviving. Probably not too much longer.
Thanks, guys. I'm going to end the meeting now. Love to you all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.